sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
I just choked down chocolate chip cookies and Grandpa's femur. Femur.
We make money now?
No, we had to pay
So
them.
this episode, it's just too slippery. I'm slicing everything.
Every time I swing my 5-iron, it goes up that guy's ass.
Welcome to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's your host, Jim and Foo.
So I saw something on Fox, and I can't remember the older actor that they had on as guest. He was hitting like a 90-plus-year-old birthday, and one of the Fox News host anchors goes, "What's the key to your longevity? Like, what's keeping you running or full cylinders kind of thing?" And he goes, "Oh, I can't tell you. I can't tell you that. It's a secret. It's a secret." And the guy goes, "What is it?" And so, like, they're sitting next to each other on the fucking couch, and he leans in and he goes, "I masturbate a lot."
What the hell?
And, he's doing it in his ear.
Uh-huh.
He's doing it in the ear.
Okay.
So he thinks, but he's got a fucking
Oh, yeah.
lavalier mic kind of thing.
So he was sitting next to him.
Yeah, so he's sitting next to him, and he's like, "Oh, yeah." So he does like the whole lean-in thing, and he goes, "I masturbate a lot."
Oh,
and the Fox News host goes,
Oh.
all right. And it, obviously the lav mic picks it up.
Right.
It's fucking the hottest day.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway.
Wow. So, 84.
Episode 84, Sad Dads Club podcast. I'm the Lord Foo.
And I'm Jim.
Thanks for joining us for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just thinking of you. You're the Lord Foo, and I'm just Jim. It just cracks me up.
That's yeah. But
I'm just regular Jim. I could be the gym next door, or the one down the street, or the guy.
Yeah, but it's gymnasium.
Changing your oil.
Right? You're like.
Yeah, that's true.
I shorten it because that's where all the fun is.
I'm Jim. Gymnasium. Which is ironic to a certain extent.
Why?
Because look at me. I always feel so.
I'm fit mentally.
So I have the sad dad sweatshirt, right?
Yeah.
And it says GYM on the front,
mm-hmm.
and then I just think, like, when I'm wearing it out, people are looking at me like, "Yeah, Jim."
Yeah.
Sure.
Whatever, Todd.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no. Jim.
Yeah, you've seen a gym before?
Yeah.
Sure, buddy.
One with legs? Come on, bitch.
Anyway. So, good week this week? Yeah? No? Anything?
It's been busy.
Well, I feel like it was a week of lost time to a certain extent. I feel like the more this happens, the less, like, now like today was the worst.
Really?
Because it literally just felt like the whole day was Saturday. It was like everyone was very active at the house and like going in and out of the garage and talking to neighbors out front and all this kind of stuff. And like, I'm like sitting there trying to focus.
I'm doing the clickety clacks,
and I'm
bitch.
like watching all this take place and like, it's Saturday. That's what I feel. It's fucking Wednesday.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I feel like I should be painting
doing some other thing.
Painting, and like I got the blind parts that I've been waiting almost 2 weeks for finally came. So like I got some blinds to fix, and it's like, it's Saturday. Why am I doing this crap for work on Saturday? Well, it's because it's Wednesday.
Yeah. Telecommuter struggles. I ran into something. I was just going to bring this up too. It was like, here's a thing that happens that you may have now experienced that happens on a daily that it just triggered like, oh yeah, people are probably running into this too. And that was, I hit close to 5 o'clock and I was like, done deal. I'm done. Walking out. I started, green waste was the pickup. So I got 2 empty cans. I'm like heading out 5:10ish. I'm getting outside before we do the show. Yeah. I'm going to work on filling up the green waste can. I go outside. I get a good hour change to put in. I come back inside, and I see a message from Mike in a hangout, and it triggers like something. Oh man, I need to see if I work this weekend. And so I log in to work. I didn't have to log in because it was still running. So I had my work connection running.
Yeah.
I unlock my work PC, and in the process of, I just need to see if I'm working this weekend.
Oh, no.
I not only, I forget about the part of checking my calendar to see if I'm working this weekend.
Right.
I immediately go into, do I have any new emails?
Uh-huh.
So I start checking my emails, and I get in, I see an email from like a sister manager of my bosses. So it's like a dotted line, I guess you'd say.
Okay.
And it's a, hey, let me know what you think about this. We're trying to track this, blah, 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 blah. And I was fucking I was off and running. It was like, oh, I'm back on work. And before I knew it, it was like 30 minutes. Yeah. And I went, fuck, I've got to take a shower before the show. But I had put back into work 30 plus minutes. Essentially, it wasn't off. It's not off the book. I'll bill that time.
Yeah.
But if I was not a telecommuter, that is something that would have been logged tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm billing it, because a lot of times telecommuters will think, oh, this is like extra credit, and I don't want to rock the boat or get dinked for time because some people may not build it. There's like a weird Jedi mind trick that managers will do with telecommuters. It's like, is everyone billing the same amount of overtime? I don't want to be sticking up, kind of a thing. I don't want to be the peg that gets, well, you're billing too much time. You're an outlier. You don't want to be the outlier. So, but at this point, I've been doing it so long. It's like, fuck no, my time is valuable. You're gonna see every.
I was doing shit for you.
Yeah. I've kind of come full circle in a lot of the telecommuter habits. It's like, no, some of these things, it's like, no Jedi mind tricks on me, bitch. This doesn't work. So, and stuff like that. I'll get lost in the effort, but not in the making sure I get compensated. Mm-hmm. But it's still a thing that happens regardless. It's like, because I can, the work PC is right there. It's essentially on. It's on like a 24-hour like re-log in kind of thing. But it happens. It's almost, and that wouldn't happen per se. In the past, it wouldn't happen because I went into an office. It's like, you're remoting in on an emergency or on a pager or an on-call. It's like, those are the outliers. Yeah. Now it's like this is a daily reoccurrence. It's like my machine is logged into work 24/7. And so if I happen to like, oh, I should check that thing, it happens exactly as it did this evening. Mm-hmm. I log in, and I'm fucking lost in a thought. As long as there's something there. In this case, there was. And I got buried, and it was just like off and running. The mind just like, that's got to be a tangible. I mean, it was quality work. Yeah. I wouldn't build something that wasn't effortless. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see when this all starts to settle out. Are people more productive or feel more valuable getting things done in an office setting versus outside, and where does that all settle out?
Well, I think it depends on the work that you're doing, but I'm a salaried employee, so it's like,
oh, you get no OT.
No, I get there's no. Yeah. And I think there's a blurry line there too, because there are, especially now with the working from home thing, and we had instituted, I think, right around the time all this stuff blew up, like we had switched over to mail that was like Office 365 or something like that. And in part of that is like the Teams tool. So all that stuff sort of kind of came online all at once.
Right.
And so now there's more ways for work people to get a hold of you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I would be very selective, like who I gave my phone number to, like for texting and that kind of stuff. And now it's like I have the Teams app is on my phone, and it's like if someone wants to get a hold of me, they can just get a hold of me.
Yeah.
And now that, and the other part of it is like, if you really need me, then in Teams, like we have a list of all the team members that we're working with, and my phone number's on there now, which hadn't previously been on there. But everybody else was doing it. It was sort of like, well, I mean, I guess I need to.
Now you're like a passive on-call.
Kind of. But I'm very much of the mindset when I am into something and I'm working, I have a bucket. I have a bucket like theory that I kind of work on.
Okay.
And my bucket will get full to the point to where it's like I can't concentrate anymore. I'm not doing good work. Like I'm full. My bucket is full and it's starting to run over and I have to be done.
Okay.
That's kind of how I look at stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That we had one of our other QA guys, and him and I were he's retired now, but him and I kind of had the same mindset. It was like towards the end of the day, you get so tired of the minute detail of trying to find some of this stuff and in the minutia of it all, that like the bucket just starts filling up, and then once you've hit that for the day, like your productivity just drops way off, and it's like I'm not being useful right now.
Yeah, you almost get swamped in the woods kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like there's too much.
Yeah, and being at home is, I mean, there is a little bit of that, but also it's sort of like now I'm working at my house. I have to have this separation between working at home and being productive for people at work. And it's a hard line balance, especially when that equipment and shit that I've brought home is sitting in my family room on the desk.
Right.
I don't ever escape it. It's always there.
Yes.
And I'm working in a situation where I'm not sequestered like you are in your office. I don't get away from everybody into an office. I'm out in the family room with this stuff turned on. I literally have everything plugged into a wall switch so that when I am finished for the day, I can just go and turn it. Everything just goes boo, and it gets quiet. Because I have to separate my home from the work. It's just such a weird concept.
Yeah. I'd say, and part of it, so an interesting struggle with that, though, is that my in-house temple is the same place in which there is a work thing always on.
True.
So while as far as external distractions go, my office is the same place where I find my piece.
Yeah, because you're doing like 3D printing or
or
modeling or whatever.
I play the Xbox. I'm reading news. I'm fucking doing stuff on the video production for the show.
Right.
I'm crafting at the thing, or I'm doing something, or Venus is playing on the Xbox behind me. So the distractions it kind of just moves around.
Yeah.
And so it's my ability to just light switch off is really just kind of just evolved into a different, like hopefully the screen
just don't
saver,
think about that.
Yeah, the screensaver just goes black and just don't touch that mouse.
Just don't touch it. Don't wake it up.
Yeah, don't wake up.
If it wakes up,
right,
I'm going to get sucked
in. I got to check my schedule to see if I'm working this weekend. And then fucking shit just derails. It's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. And as someone that has been doing it
you
exponentially longer than you.
You have way more experience in it.
It's still, I suffer the same as you on day, 30, 40 something, as someone that's been doing it 15 plus years.
Yeah.
The distractions just kind of move around. It's a little shell game.
Yeah.
Well,
today, what it was funny was, like I said, my wife's like, "Can I back your car out of the garage?" I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead." And then it was
Are you going to do it blindfolded? No. Good.
So then it was like this parade of the garage door between the garage and the house, like opening and slamming. And it's very distracting, that door, opening and slamming. Which you have here too.
Yeah.
A very similar thing. But I'm sitting at my desk and I just hear slam. And then I start going, fuck, that door is doesn't anyone hold the goddamn door so it doesn't slam?
Yeah.
And then I started to get irritated about the fact that the door's slamming.
Yeah.
And then I start researching, I need a fucking hydraulic door closer that will make sure it closes, but then slow it down and close. So that it doesn't keep slamming. So then I'm on Lowe's.com.
Yeah.
Okay, hydraulic door. Yeah. Oh, and then it's
rabbit hole.
Oh, I can do that for $60. That's not bad. I should fucking put one. Goddamn, I'm gonna put one of those in. Is that
when
hard?
would I do that?
Yeah,
like
is it gonna
Saturday.
be hard?
I should watch a YouTube thing on. Like,
yeah, I
has
did.
someone installed this? Like, is there any complications?
Yeah, I did. I watched a video.
Fucking
on how to
yeah.
put it in. I'm like, I mean, this is totally doable. What else do I gotta
hours
do?
later, fucking
Yeah. So I'm like distracted by I have to say this. My wife has been very good about trying to make sure that I'm not distracted by what's going on beyond work, because she knows I'm in a place where it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. That's great. She's been doing a great job of that. Today was one of the very few days of my work time at home that really didn't happen, and I was distracted. Because I always thought, no, you're fine. If you want to watch TV, go for it. But now I realize if she wants to come out in the family room and watch TV, it will probably distract the shit out of me.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Because this is one of the things that happens for me, is that now that more people are home, and I think Venus kind of caught this vibe over time, but I'm really good about getting up and taking like a walk break. Sometimes it's just a couple of minutes. Sometimes I'll just get up and go outside and kind of just like fake jump rope just to kind of change my stance.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. There is a little bit of a pet peeve to be walking past a kid's room and to see them lounging.
I totally
and
get that.
Venus usually will spend part of the day like running an errand, either grocery shopping or filling her time with a friend or something. In the last couple weeks or months leading up to the thing, she was working on resume and interviews for whatnot and preparing for the job market and whatnot. So she was keeping herself busy.
Yeah.
Now that people are home and the kids are on a different schedule with school, so it's not 8 to 2 in a it's not that way.
Yeah.
Their schedule ebbs and flows. There are blanks throughout the day. So for me to not have blanks in my day, but to be 8 to 5, and then to be on my like walk break or like a just stop staring at a thing break, and to walk past a kid's room and to see Xander fucking like doing Minecraft or just staring at the sky, or Piper in a vacant spot between Zoom meetings with teachers, just kind of like watching fucking TikToks or whatever it is that she does, or Venus in her idle time now that she has because she can't go out. It's like trigger,
Yeah.
and it's distracting. It's distracting as because it's one. I think a lot of it is probably just me being jealous. Like fucking, I wish I had that kind of free time.
Oh, absolutely. No, how can you not?
And some of it is just out of sight, out of mind, because prior it was
everyone had something to do.
These people aren't here.
Yeah.
These people aren't here.
Yeah.
Venus respected, like she knew, she knows.
Yeah.
It's like, if I come out to get a glass of water and she's doing whatever her Disney game is, she knows. She can read the fucking tea leaves. She knows.
Right.
It's like if I come out 5 times and I see whatever that is going on,
gummy drop.
It's fucking daddy's getting pissed. Daddy's getting a little salty.
Well, that's what's been.
She knows.
That's what's been even harder. Is the fact that my wife is an at-risk person with the asthma, so she can't go anywhere.
Right, so she has no alternative.
There is nothing for her to do. So her time is spent, like, hanging out with Melanie, and and she is also an at-risk kind of a person. So, like, they really, and she's not working because her job is in Fullerton, right? So she's not working. Shanna's not working.
Right.
And, like, they're playing Animal Crossing.
Oh.
Or Shan's in the bedroom watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll watch TV in the bed, but she'll do it in the bedroom.
Right.
And they'll be hanging out. Like Melanie will come into our bedroom.
I don't want to hear you having fun in there. Shut the fuck up.
It's like...
It's hard.
Yeah, it is hard, and it's compounded a little bit just because they can't go anywhere.
Right. And it's not, I get it. Yeah. It's not necessarily their fault. It's like everyone is corralled into the same spot.
Yeah.
You know, Venus has occupied a lot of her time with making masks or relearning how to do a lot of stuff on the sewing machine.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You know, and painting and whatnot. And I'll be fully honest, the fucking house, I haven't seen this much chaos in our fucking house since, like, the addition.
Yeah.
Like, I've got light fixtures. It's to sort of transition to the next spot. I've got light fixtures just fucking hanging from the ceiling and, like, half-painted rooms and
missing plug covers.
Dude!
Switch covers.
Absolutely. You fucking feel my sad dad pain. It's fucking all over. It has caught up to me. Because I think we've talked, you know.
Oh, yeah.
There's been, like, the projects. It's like, wait, did we finish that one? No, because there's fucking, you know. So...
That's where I'm at. I can't start any more projects until I finish a couple.
I absolutely. And I had this talk with Venus because, like, her dad is trying to... the couches are one thing. Like, we've transitioned our couches to #Hi Kim, hi Brett. Actually, just #Hi Kim because Brett doesn't listen and he sucks. Whatever, lowest brother.
Jesus.
So we've been transitioning stuff between families. It's like, you know, repurpose and whatnot.
Yeah.
Her dad wants to get us a safe. And I'm like, we need to just kibosh that because it goes in a space that I need to move scrap wood from. And literally, we've got half-painted rooms, paint tarps, and light fixtures hanging from the ceiling. Like, we got to start knocking stuff out before we do another tower game of us moving furniture around.
Oh, yeah.
And two cars are parked outside instead of at least one in the fucking garage.
Yeah.
And she's like, I get it. I'm like, fucking please, tell me. Yeah, because... it's a mess.
I know.
I'm having troubles.
Well,
it's fucking...
the house is more or less put back from all the painting inside.
Well, God bless you.
Right.
Because it's not in this house.
We're not done. But
well, yeah.
More or less it's good right now. But over the weekend I started painting the back of the house more.
Yeah.
Because that was a project that I started and didn't finish.
So is it stucco or siding?
It's stucco. Okay. And the other problem is like under the eaves, and they're really tall eaves in a couple places. The eaves, like the paint's like super hardcore peeling under the eaves.
Oh.
So I start painting this section and I go, I gotta paint the eaves. Oh shit. I gotta brush down all the old paint in order to lay new paint down. And that's like and I did it on part of the eaves, but not this part.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other part was we have a paint sprayer, like a Wagner, and for some reason it just wouldn't spray any paint, and I couldn't figure out why. So that was what I did before going to Angie and Mike's house on Sunday to help them.
Yeah,
was I spent like probably an hour, 45 minutes or so, working on the paint sprayer in the kitchen, trying to make sure why the fuck isn't this working.
Mm-hmm.
So I had, because there are things that the paint sprayer can do that would be god awful with a paintbrush.
Do you use was the paint sprayer something you used inside the house, or is it just an external only?
No, we didn't use it inside because it wasn't working.
Oh.
So I just got it working.
Wah wah.
Yeah, we used it outside for when we painted the front of the house. And then it got put away. I think that because that was like last.
We used to have one of those. It was electric powered, and it was ass.
It's not that. I won't use it to do a whole wall outside.
Oh,
especially with stucco because it leaves shadows, right?
Oh.
Depending on how the angle that you spray.
Oh, okay.
And,
yeah.
And so rollering, in my opinion, if I don't have a professional sprayer, which I don't, but rollering is way better than using the sprayer because you find thin spots and you have to go touch it up again anyway. Mm-hmm. The fucking rollers just it goes on and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But I found out I can replace the front end of the sprayer with a finishing tip.
Okay.
So I can do like cabinetry and get a nice even finish.
Yeah, but it's not a professional sprayer.
It's a Wagner power.
God, it sounds like the same kind.
Power.
It's just a 110.
Yeah.
Is it loud as sin?
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah.
But it for doing cabinets and stuff, or probably indoors, is probably really good. I would imagine. But we haven't been using it because for some reason it wouldn't spray, and I figured that out. So,
yeah.
Whatever.
I think we'd mentioned, or at least I did. We've run into like a series of like I said, all the projects have started to like run together, and for me, like I'm not OCD about stuff, but I like to, because I'm so multi-tracked. I'm a list guy. Like I was like, well, to help keep me
focused
on a track of at least a couple ideas. It's like I have, in order to make sure that I'm not totally scatterbrained. It's like, well, a lot of these things all run through me or need my feedback.
Yeah,
it's like, here are the things I'm working on. Like I try to keep it.
Well, let me ask you this: how many loose
light
projects
fixtures
can you have it going at one time? That's acceptable. 2, 3, 4.
I've got at least 5.
Okay,
and it's already getting to me.
Okay.
And here's part of the problem.
Yeah, is
that up until the quarantine and the isolation stuff, I'm very fortunate with the amount of income that we make here, that I have a lot of stuff like almost pre-staged. Like I have a lot of tools that are, I'm lucky to have opportunity to have. So, but materials to perform a lot of the tasks that have like slowly aggregated into you're in quarantine, and so now your external time is like honey-do stuff.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to almost get rock and a hard place between, I need materials. Whereas in the past, it was like Amazon, 2-day Prime delivery. Well, obviously, everything has slowly moved and evolved to Amazon or remote delivery. So those 2-day things are now pushed out,
4 days,
4 days, 1 week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So now what has happened is where my ability to knock out projects based off my ability to actually facilitate a solution to the projects is now I've got so many things in flight because I'm waiting on materials from what normally would be
pretty quick.
Yeah. Pretty quick turnaround time. It's like, I need these type of wall plates. I need this type of cable media. I need, something. It's like, oh, it'll be here by Friday. I could put a bunch of stuff in. Like I know I'm going to be working on these home projects this weekend. I have up until Wednesday to order these things, or make sure I go to Lowe's or whatever, hardware store or whatever, to get them and have them by Friday. Now it's like I have all of the normal sad dad things and ideas and honey-do lists that happened Monday through Friday, and when I go to order these parts or things, now it's like
after the weekend's over.
I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So there is almost an exponential amount of thumb twiddling. It's like I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Like I'm a husband, a father, a full-time employee, and I'm a friend who's trying to outsource like stuff to, to other friends and whatnot. It's like, I'm trying to do good by the community and whatnot. And these are my time slots to fill all those things.
Yeah.
And I get to these available time slots and I have no materials.
Yeah.
This is
that's frustrating.
It's too hot to be in the attic in the middle of the day. So now it's evening. I need these wall jacks. I need this something. I can't get up in there because that's coming next week.
Yeah.
It's like,
And hopefully it's cool then.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so what do you do? Well, I don't have any yard projects right now because I did that yesterday and I caught up.
And if you did start our yard project, it would carry you over until the next weekend, probably.
It's like, the stuff with the living room. It's like, well, painting the ceilings and whatnot. It's like, I get to the end of my work day and it's like, I know that's a thing I need to knock out, but I'm beat, man.
I know.
I'm fucking beat.
I know.
So that gets pushed to the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, after a week of slush stuff, all of a sudden some of the stuff that you've ordered during these lockdowns starts to show up. So it's like then you almost get into like the reverse of waiting for the thumb twiddling. Now it's like, well, now you have so many things.
You got all the
now
things,
you have all of your things.
None
now
of
it's
the
like
time.
none of the time.
Yeah.
None of the time.
Oh,
it's like, fuck me.
Yeah, no, I totally feel that, and I have the similar kind of a thing happening as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's this whole thing, and like this is something that almost hasn't come to head until the last couple of weeks. It's like up until probably last couple shows, the ability to almost foresee these are some of the things I'm working on, and I'm gonna so I'll order these, and that'll be here next week. I had some time off, and I was helping Mike and Angie. #Hi Mike. #Hi Dragon. So it was like I was working on those things, and so that was their projects.
Yeah.
So I'm helping them knock out their stuff.
Right.
And then the moment I'm back in the saddle, I'm back to working. It's like I'm back here at the house. Now the
realization
the
of
Lord
this
Fu
stuff.
family stuff needs to start getting knocked down.
Yeah.
It's like, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. I can paint the ceiling, and it's like I'm behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
And I got no time.
Yeah.
Sad dad time.
I mean, I had we painted our bedroom, and then I don't know if I talked about this on the show, but we had this drywall that was jacked up around all these windows, so I had to remud all that, and then we decided, well, we're gonna try that Flex Seal stuff you see on TV. I painted the bottom of this boat with a screen door and Flex Seal, that guy. So we bought a can of that stuff, and I sealed the inside of that window with Flex Seal, and it's rubber. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like a heavy
it's
latex.
like a pretty heavy duty.
Yeah.
So I coated that. Well, that shit takes 48 hours, right, before you can do it. So that stuff's now waiting for me to get back in, and I'm going to try and paint over it so that it matches the rest of the paint that we just did.
Yeah.
And it's like I just haven't gotten back to it, And it's like at night when I'm after work, I'm like, get on a step stool and paint.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that right now.
And that's rough because, I want to,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not OCD,
I wanna get it done.
but I want to get I want to get some sense of normalcy.
Yeah.
I want to help everyone knock out their stuff too. But it's like, man, it's fucking 8 o'clock. I'm finally eating dinner, or I'm helping dinner, or I'm washing the dishes. I just want to shoot aliens in the face.
I just want to run around Lego City or Lego City.
Yeah.
And capture bad guys.
I need a break. And then all of a sudden it's fucking midnight, 1 a.m. It's
Yeah.
like, God damn it.
I have to go back to bed and then get up and do it again.
Yeah. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Whoa.
There's just not enough time.
Not-
And it's crazy because I should have 2 extra hours in the day.
Right.
But I will say this. I'm rested as shit.
Oh.
I'm getting I'm waking up before my alarm goes off and waking up I feel good.
You should be painting.
I just Well, today I woke up, so I've been getting up close to 7:30. That's usually when my alarm goes off.
Yeah.
This morning, bink, out of bed, wake up, 7 o'clock, look at 7 o'clock. I don't feel like I can sleep anymore. So it's like I just got up and took a shower. I couldn't tell you the last time I just got up and took a shower in the morning. You know what I mean? So it's just everything's fucking topsy-turvy and upside down and wonky.
Yeah.
Everything. It's weird.
So say topsy-turvy.
Topsy-turvy?
Topsy-turvy. So do you remember this habit from younger years? Someone gets something cool
Okay.
And you're like, that is cool. Like, I want one of those.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw yeah, you did. The tweet about the cabling.
I did. I
Okay.
did see that.
So
So wait, hold on.
okay.
So these are RJ45 connectors.
Yes.
That have the wire passes through.
Yes.
And then you can tell if they're in the right location before they get cinched down.
Yes.
And when they cinch down, do they clip the ends of the wire off?
Yes.
Oh, that's fucking brilliant.
I know, right?
I know.
Right?
That is brilliant.
And here's the thing. Like I said in the tweet, I have been making cables let's see. Since 1996 at PC Solutions, they're at the store in Auburn. I was making coax token ring cables, and Ethernet cables for small businesses and networks all over the place.
Yeah,
I have probably made thousands of feet of patch cables or cable runs in various cable media, mostly Category 5, Category 5E, and
which is funny because
6.
now all of the Ethernet connectors are all auto sensing, and they know what if they're patching or if they're not patching, right? Yeah.
So, and the history behind that is the bulk of that probably came from working at the banks, and that was in the olden days. We could run our own network media, so the amount of patch cables that I made working for the bank in North Carolina is I couldn't quantify, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot.
Miles.
And I can tell you that I have made my share of mistakes, and that is you flip the wrong, the green and white is actually the brown and white, but you didn't really know because the color swatch, whatever, was below the shielding, and so you crimp it and it's fucking done, or you look at the end and you didn't push it all the way through, and so now you got to clip it off and you got to redo the whole fucking thing, and your thumb starts. These are all like nerd problems, I'm sure.
Of course they are.
But the tips of your thumb gets raw because you're like managing these tiny little things and you're pushing them through the fucking jack,
making sure they get in the right slots.
Right, and then it didn't or it did, and you crimp it anyway, and I'm getting lost. There's it's a mess.
Yeah.
So then you clip it and you're redoing it.
Yeah.
So this is going on what would be 2 weeks back. I am working with Mike, and he is creating a cable for something in the new house. And he cuts off the shielding of a cable, and he puts on the RJ45 jack, and he pushes it through his crimper, and the ends come out, and I just about lost my shit.
So you hadn't seen these?
I had not seen this.
Okay.
And I went, and it's funny because I sent a picture of me doing the same, the tweet before I sent the tweet. I sent the picture to my friend Grant, #HiGrant, of the cable ends coming out the end of the jack. And he was pretty much the same way that I was to Mike. I'm like,
oh, shit.
What fucking magic is this? And that is the ability for the cables to push all the way through the jack, and the crimper trims it all cleanly flush against the
jack. So do
you
have to have the connector and the crimper as like, is it they work together?
They work, well, yes. You wouldn't buy the pass-through
connectors
without a pass-through
crimper. I got you.
But for me, in seeing this happen at Mike do it, it was, he could recount the conversation. I was literally just like, this is fucking magic.
What are you doing?
What wizardry is this? Anyone who has had a struggle with a miswired crimp or troubleshooting someone else's patch cable or not a store-bought cable knows this struggle.
Right.
And to see Mike with this crimper and these types of jacks, I'm like, fuck it, I'm done by buying one. bought the tool, bought the jacks.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And so when I sent the tweet, I was remaking cables
Just because you bought the tools.
just because I bought the fucking tools. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. Now I know exactly with 100% confidence where I fucking made at least 6 patch cables to proper length.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because I'm like, well, these are too long, and fucking now I know. Sometimes.
And are you doing Cat 6?
No, because the bulk of the house is actually 5E.
Okay.
And while I say I'm not OCD, I would be OCD about like changing color length of cable or color shielding. Anyway, it would start to bug me because I've got at least 20-something runs of 5E.
Yeah.
And I'm okay.
Yeah.
Until I saw that my switch is actually 10100, and the iMac gets faster download than my main PC rig because my PC rig is limited by the 100 megabits cable, and the Mac gets faster throughput over Wi-Fi.
Really?
Yeah. I can't. Yeah, it's sad.
That's wacky.
So I bought a gigabit switch.
That's hilarious.
Which comes Saturday, so I can't do any of that project until
until the stuff gets
here.
Until
the stuff gets here.
Yeah.
But then I'll have more patch cables to make, and I'll be very happy about it.
I wish we had networking cable in the house, to be honest. I mean, we bought our house. We didn't know. I mean, we had a thing in our house called, what do they call it? Tech plate, tech something. And it was a system that they included in the house, and you only got 2 jacks that included it. It was one wall outlet that had 2 power connectors, 2 coax, and 1 like phone or network connection.
Were you supposed to run a token ring through your house or some shit? Coax? 2 coax?
Yeah, so 2 coax in the house. I still don't understand what the other coax is for, but there's these 2 plates in the house, and they were like, and we can put it in all the rooms. And it was like, yeah, that's cool. How much is that? Oh, it was like $450 a room or some shit like that. And we're just like,
fuck?
No, that's all right. Just put the 2 in the,
Yeah.
Well, there's a thing up in the closet that's like a coax splitter that splits it out.
Okay.
And then I don't know what the other coax does. I still don't understand. But anyway, that goes to all the rooms except the 2 that have that tech plate.
Okay.
And then there's a networking thing up there. Well, all the installers don't know what the fuck this shit is. So they've gone up into our closet where the tech plate box is that has all the splitters and shit, which is now super outdated, right?
Right, of course.
So they have like cut and probably spliced all around all that shit because why wouldn't they?
I don't know what this is, man.
You're having problems?
I make T-split and you're fucking good.
Yeah, give me your...
Do you want DVR? You want free HBO, bitch? Fucking good to go.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I haven't looked, but it's probably a goddamn mess by now.
Yeah.
23 years of fucking people snipping and rewiring shit up there. I'm sure it's probably a fucking wreck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we don't even use coax in the house now.
Yeah.
We don't have...
Like I said, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking token ring.
No,
what?
Yeah.
No one uses... Fuck it.
I mean, we had Comcast for a long time, and we used
yeah.
one connector for that out of the 2.
I'm drawing a blank. What's the coax connector?
Coax? I don't even know.
God damn it. That's going to bug me.
Just the little screw-on thing with the pin in the middle? Yeah. Yeah.
With like a quarter twist.
Oh, are you talking about BNC?
Yes, that's what it is.
No, it's not BNC. It's just the regular... like house-style cable screw-on connectors.
Button chug, BNC, bind and connect.
BNC is like a sleeve that you put over.
Yeah,
there's 2 little notches on the.
Yeah.
And then you put it over the notch and then twist it to lock it on.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's what like all of our video equipment uses. But the coax that we have at the house is like the screw-on kind where the conduit is in the center and it goes in and then
Yeah, wow.
it goes in like this.
Wow, this is great
and
for the
then
YouTube
it
episode.
just turns.
Turn into
It
the YouTube
screws-
episode to
you
see
screw it.
sexing with the hand.
Screw it. But I don't know. We don't even use coax anymore. So whatever,
Yeah.
And then
Is it like a keystone jack that you could pop out the coax and just put in an RJ45 and maybe
no,
repurpose
it's not that
the
cool.
Oh.
It's not that cool. The whole plate is like one big
Molded
piece.
into,
Yeah,
oh,
it's fucking ridiculous.
Fuck those guys.
In their butts.
Yeah.
For reals. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. Anyway, but I wish we had like Ethernet drops in all the rooms. That would have been really cool.
It'd be nice. I started after working over at Mike and Angie's, I'm like, fuck, okay, the Xbox is on a hard line. Like all the things that you would want on a hard line.
Yeah.
Like the Xbox is on a hard line. Like
Well, is
where
that
does some
'cause
of this stuff go?
Does your internet come into that room? Or
Into the office.
Oh, that's why. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes
so
sense.
it's like, what is on, and after, 7 to 10 years, I've moved some jacks around. Like, fucking, I don't want this over here.
Oh, yeah.
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 And it wasn't until, after looking at Mike's
Sweet setup.
Yeah, sweet ass setup. I'm like, fuck, okay, I should relook at how I'm doing. I'm like, okay, yeah, 10100, wow, yeah, that's 12 fucking years old.
Well,
like, I've got kids younger than my Switch.
Well, part of that is like you're doing it at the time just to get it working. I just need this to work. Like
Yeah.
I'm not really too concerned about most of the performance or whatever.
Yeah.
At the time, the performance was even probably a thing.
Well,
You
yeah.
were covering your bases, but I just need this to work. I need a cable that goes from here to there. Bam, it's done.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
now you're starting to go, everything's increased in performance and
Yeah.
And
it was, a lot of that's, up until you're, like I said, you're looking at someone else's cool new toys. You're like, it's
Well,
out of sight, out of mind.
But you get that option when you move into a brand new
right.
build of
But
a
then
house.
it's like, well, okay, where do these jacks actually go? Like when we did the addition,
Yeah.
I actually ran a bunch of lines, like thinking, well, now that all the walls are opened up, I'm going to run some
Well, that makes
network
sense.
lines.
Sure.
But even since that had happened, I've like just kind of hodgepodge moved some stuff around where I don't recall anymore. It's like I need to make this work.
Yeah.
You punch something
The
into
quick and dirty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just the whole thing's quick and dirty.
And now you need
And now it's like it's gotten out of control. It's like, well, I need to revisit that.
you gotta have
know.
one of the cable things that you plug it in at the other
Yeah,
end. And
because if fucking Mike
Where
or
does this
Angie
go?
come over and look at my like server thing, like a little nook, and they're not gonna like hose it down with whatever like feral spray.
well, that's if they can get
Like,
past
this is-
Mike's laughter.
This is cute, huh? This is cute. Fucking look at this.
What century is this house from?
Yes. Have you seen my server closet? It's got thermal couplers and fucking input-output fucking what? This is cute. You have no doors. This is bitch closet.
we
Rocky.
have hole in floor for cabling.
Wow, that's cute. You've repurposed some sort of vacuum duct? That's neat. I have this very cute little frilly jack. My cables will come through. Some's for this. But you come through ceiling. Wow, that's nice. Did you use a Dremel for that? That's cute. Fuck you.
What, you put a lobby in here?
Wow. Wow, that's nice. You also, just work in here?
How can you work in here?
That's cute. That's nice.
It's amazing what you can do with such little.
Yes. Wow, that's nice. And there's no door, so it's all one climate. Nice. Hope you don't overheat. Mine has a trigger that works on its own. Automated, bitch.
It also ramps up the fan if I fart.
Yes, it's enclosed. Goes into laundry room. Wow, you sit in here? That's nice. Fuck you. Check out my feral spray. That's nice. You inferior American setup.
You just have to say space shuttle, pal.
Yeah, space shuttle, huh? Wow, that's nice. That's amazing. But it has caused me to reevaluate my setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, that's funny shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you have brand new construction and you're a guy that runs cable for a living.
Yeah.
You
can do.
Yeah,
You can set the bar. And
you're going into the construction every day looking at what they're doing and taking pictures of where all the fucking
God, what a smart idea that was.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was thinking like back when our house was being built and we'd come visit and be like checking out shit. I never thought one fucking time.
Yeah. You're like, I can't wait to put a penny in my foundation.
Yeah.
And Mike and Andrew are like documenting.
Well,
like,
I mean, back then it would have been, let me get my fucking APS camera out. Remember those? Where it takes the pictures on the little cartridge. And
no. Is that like a Polaroid?
No, it's like it's smaller than 35 millimeter, but it was like a little cartridge, and you put it in, and it would eject the film into the camera. It was actually kind of really cool, but I would have had to like go take pictures with that on film, and then go have it processed somewhere. But it was the little cartridges. You would take it in and drop it off, and then you would get it back on the end of it. It would have like it would have a progression. Okay, so it's there was a dot that said it was brand new. And then after you took all the pictures and took it out of the camera, then it would progress to the next thing. It's been taken on, but you haven't processed it. It was a Kodak thing.
I was going to say, I'm totally drawing a blank on that. I mean, I remember taking film in.
Yeah, well.
But not whatever it is.
This is APS film. You should look it up. Look it up.
Okay, boomer.
God damn it. Boomer. Fuck you, man. Yeah, no, we bought it because it was like a little bit better quality. It was a little bit better quality. No, a little bit better quality than
35?
No, 35 was better, but it was better than like 110 or whatever that was. And then
so we're not talking about the cardboard disposables, right?
No, it was a little plastic cartridge that the film, it was like a little bit smaller than 35 millimeter film. The cartridge looked like it was a 35 millimeter cartridge, but it was plastic.
God, I must have missed that.
Yeah. They were actually, and they were just easy to load. You just dropped it in and closed the back. And then there was a mechanism in the camera that would like shoot the film out into the back and prep it for shooting so that you didn't have to touch. You didn't have to like feed it.
Okay, so that sounds familiar, but I don't think I owned anything like that.
But that's what I would have had to do is take pictures on film and go have it processed and then get the film back and be like, oh, that's how, okay, that's where that is. And nowadays you just shoot with your phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
now it's like, well, I could get a DSLR, but, most people are doing it with their phones.
Oh, absolutely.
You
know where the DSLR sales are is with all the pros. I mean, really.
It's not. I mean, even with the prosumer stuff, I have, like I said, I gave.
Yeah.
I would say, like I said, but I've given Chandler the 60D.
Yeah.
Nice. I had for no other reason other than it's just flat out collecting dust in my house.
Yeah.
One is, sad dad.
But if you're a professional photographer.
But the other is I'm getting plenty enough mileage out of a smartphone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're a professional photographer, you want the control over your camera.
Yes.
So
yes,
you're gonna buy a DSLR of some kind or a mirrorless something or other.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Ribs.
Oh. Yeah.
So let's talk ribs.
I haven't done much rib smokage. So I decided I was going to do some this weekend.
Okay.
I got some baby backs. I actually probably should buy another rack. But basically I did a little research, found a really good method, and I think I was telling you about this.
The 3-2-1.
Yeah, 3-2-1, which is like a 3-hour smoke and then a 2-hour bake with or without smoke is your choice. A 2-hour bake and then a 1-hour with smoke. I would probably do smoke with barbecue sauce on them.
So here's the thing with barbecue.
Okay.
Barbecue is like cake. It's to taste,
Yeah.
and not every cake is the same as right.
Right. So
As a barbecue,
it's an evolving thing.
it's
is
an
what you're
evolving
saying.
thing.
Yeah.
For me, and I had to make sure because so I redialed in some of because I've used in the past 3-2-1 without necessarily knowing that that's what I was doing.
Okay.
As someone, and this may be coming from the country, as someone that came from the country, for me, barbecue tastes different when it is literally low and slow.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
For me, there is a difference in taste and preparation for something that I cook and leave either on the smoker or smoker and transition to the barbecue than something that is cooked in foil or cooked in a smoker or barbecue and then transition to foil. There's just a difference in taste.
Okay.
Now, I understand that for some consumers of ribs specifically, like pork ribs,
Yeah.
the understanding of like, well, I put it in my mouth and it just fell off the bone.
Right.
I know you can do that, and a lot of this really has to do, for me, with time.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that in an Instant Pot. You can do it all in a broiler and an oven. You can do it in a smoker. And none of those things necessarily ever have to touch a barbecue.
Yeah.
For me, to go from the smoker to even foil, I feel like I've cheated the experience. Because I know what happens when I go either from smoking it all for the length of time on a barbecue or going from the smoker to the barbecue.
Yeah.
There is a protein and crust difference. And a lot of that, like I said, has to do entirely with time.
Yeah.
The length of time it takes to get...
But really, with a 3-2-1 setup, you're still talking about a 5-hour cook, which is kind of amazing.
Yes, but a lot of those times can be condensed a little even shorter than that by however long you spend wrapping, like the wrapping it in foil or something, or you cheat some of that stuff with like a temperature and in another medium. Mm-hmm. Restaurants are obviously famous for doing that, and that reminds me of that Rockland place. A good experience, but their ribs were almost an example of you can almost fake the barbecue experience by cooking it in an oven, and you liquid smoke or something. Like you can tell, like the difference between Lucille's ribs and that place in Rockland are noticeably different.
Right.
Now that is like a slow cook, not necessarily in a barbecue, but in that like giant rotisserie doodad that they've got. Yeah. Now they're piping smoke it. I don't prefer heavy smoke, but
Lucille's is probably on the heavy side.
Yeah. But not necessarily all the time smoke. Mm-hmm. My ribs are somewhere in between. Yeah. Now, will I gladly eat ribs that are, like the St. Louis ribs that you can get at Rayleigh's or Safeway on the quick because, they're convenient? Yeah. Absolutely. Do they fall off the bone? Absolutely. But if given an opportunity to make Foo's ribs, like you ask me, what's your rub? I'm like, oftentimes it's very like simple, but a lot of times it's just whatever I have in the house. It's a garlic powder, onion powder, seasoned salt. Yeah. And here's my hashtag secret that I don't mind sharing.
Wait.
Hot chocolate.
Oh.
Powdered hot chocolate.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Not coffee?
Not coffee. Powdered hot chocolate. and salt.
I figured it
and
was
then
sour
like
cream.
a lot of hot mopping. So no
Yeah.
sour creams. And a lot of hot mopping.
Okay, so you mop a lot.
Yeah, I mop a lot because I think the crust and the low and slow, and that's why it's so hard to get my ribs, because it's a huge time sink.
Yeah.
It's a huge time commitment, and I understand that not everyone has that. So sometimes, like the foiling, gets you time back, and at the same time, it gets you that like the protein. Like the falling off the bone.
Yep.
You get that. You can get that with the barbecue, but it's going to take you the low and slow, 6 to 7, or an all-day cook.
I couldn't.
Not everybody has that.
I couldn't use my grill to bake them for the 2-hour foil part.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably just, if I was going to do it, foil them and put them back in the smoker, because I couldn't get my barbecue probably to that temperature or get a consistent temperature on the gas grill.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's hard too. That's a
Yeah.
convenience thing too.
Yeah.
It's like not everybody has those facilities.
Yeah.
I'm grotesquely blessed with having 2 fucking barbecues, and a smoker.
Yeah.
So my ability to do what I want to make a perfect thing is unique to me.
Yeah.
And even then, my ability to produce that product is like so, because Sad Dad, my ability to commit to, for me, and what is like my perfect rib experience is an 8-hour, like I get up in the morning, and I smoke them for 2 to 3 hours in the smoker, and then I'll transition them to the barbecue and they go the rest of the day. And that gets me, and oftentimes too, the experience of it falling off the bone, I don't necessarily think that's an indicator of like, the perfect experience either.
Yeah.
Like it's somewhere in between. Like, I don't mind if I leave a little bit of meat on the bone if it tastes great.
Right. Well, that's a part of the reason why you get from what I was reading, the reason why you use the foil situation is for moisture, to retain moisture.
Right.
Because ribs can notoriously go dry on you.
Yes.
So you use the foil situation with apple cider vinegar or apple juice or beer or maybe even just water.
Yeah.
To make sure that in that 2-hour cook process that you're not losing any moisture out of them.
And that's why, for me, the mopping will help, and I'll use apple cider vinegar. So it's like,
so your mop is an apple cider vinegar with anything else?
A lot of times butter.
Okay.
So it's like I'm looking at like the meat to see if it starts to dry out. Sometimes and that's that's part of the variability about cooking that thing.
Yeah.
It's you're kind of you're eyeballing the meat frequently.
Yeah.
It's like, now it's time for a baste. Something, I'm getting a runaway for whatever reason on an element, and it's getting too hot, and I've got to drop back. Or I can throw a couple smoke chips in here and maybe get a little extra smoke. So you're basting and kind of eyeballing.
And if you're mopping, you're opening the cabinet a lot.
Right.
So you're
that
gonna
too.
lose heat.
That too. It's a hard one. It's like brisket, and you've done brisket more recently than I have, and it's a
that's a tough beach.
It's tough.
Yeah,
and a lot of times I think like some of the restaurants that do ribs, they almost, I'm not gonna say fake it is a hard word, but like you put it in your mouth and the whole thing just came off the bone, and it's like, well, that must be an indicator of like tenderness. It's like, well, not necessarily.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but we did like their 55. It was last week.
Yeah, across from Sierra College.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like a $55 meal plan thing, and you got like a pound of tri-tip, a pound of shredded pork for like a shredded pork sandwich kind of thing, and like a rack of baby backs. multiple meals for us. Very pleased. I really like their sauce.
Okay.
And we got like a full, like almost like a mustard bottle, like a diner deli size mustard bottle full of their sauce.
Okay.
Really love the sauce. Absolutely amazing. Made the pulled pork stuff sandwiches, fucking amazeballs. The ribs were okay. They didn't necessarily have a lot of smoky flavor for me.
Yeah.
I prefer, if I were to get like a restaurant ribs, I would get Lucille's. But it gets hard when you compare that to like what you can make, and then at the same time you're like, fuck, well, that's an 8-hour endeavor, and it's like eyes on the whole time. Otherwise, you end up with dry ribs or something, and it goes sideways.
Yeah. Well, like I said, don't have a lot of experience with it. I figured get my feet wet, try the what I know is going to work, and then just from there, just expand out and try something different.
As long as you make sure that you try at some point to do
a long smoke,
a long smoke, or a long barbecue, and maybe that's 6 months, a year down the road when you have a barbecue that you can dial in at 220, 230 or under.
Well, I don't mind cooking everything in the smoker. I mean, I can just not put chips in it and just not produce smoke.
Right, and that happens too. That's why I'll tend to run it in my smoker a little bit longer, because it's like, well, I'll smoke it mildly for 2 hours and leave it in there because it has the oven element at like 230 for another hour while I wrangle something else as the dad into moving it to the barbecue for a slightly higher temperature or something. So you can leave it in the smoker, but even then, the crust things that happen are completely unique to a rack of ribs when it's on a low and slow flame and not a heat element.
Now, are you not mopping at the end with barbecue sauce? Because, like I said, the thing what I was reading was you cook with your dry rub, then you do your foiling, and then the last hour is you basically mop with your barbecue sauce and let it either smoke or bake with the barbecue sauce.
That's
on it.
pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Because, and a lot of times too with the dry rub, because you'll lose a lot of the rub, depending if you're mopping or not. You'll lose a lot of the spices, so a lot of the rub part is whether or not you're putting that on and then refrigerating it overnight, because you're using almost like that, like a brining, like a dry brining to get it in and out of the meat with the salts and whatnot.
Yeah.
If you're mopping like I do, you're going to lose a lot of those rubs and spices. So a lot of times throughout the course, once I put it onto the barbecue itself after the smoke, I'm reapplying the hot chocolate, seasoned salt. It's very simple. I mean, I could probably count on one hand the amount of stuff that I'm reapplying. And then, yes, if I'm doing sauced ribs, like with barbecue sauce, I may even almost save that because I think we've done a party or something where I've not sauced some. It's almost okay to leave that as like I'll cut up all the ribs, and you almost like a salad. You'll toss that at the end.
I love like a Memphis style rib that doesn't have sauce on it.
Yeah,
I love that.
Sometimes,
and I love adding my own sauce to it and making it my own.
Yeah, you can make them like sopping wet with your mop at the end, and so then it does like a you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Or you make them completely sloppy, and it's going to get
that's
everywhere.
one of the things about the brisket I really enjoy is getting that crust on the brisket. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But and even with Memphis style ribs, you can get that crust on them. But I was thinking this time I would just go and sauce them and say, what the hell? Just who cares?
And you got to start. That's why I didn't necessarily have a recommendation. It's like my prime rib. It's like fuck it.
Yeah.
Or my chili.
It's what it is. What it is.
It happens at the moment, the spur of the moment.
I got you.
We're at time. We ended on the noms.
It's making me hungry. And I just ate dinner.
I'm like, fuck. Yeah. Do I have any ribs? I should cook
I know.
ribs.
I need to get another rack, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It'll turn out.
Yeah.
I'll be happy with it.
I'll be here. You could drop one off. I could eat it and let you know.
A rack?
Yeah. Or one, drive by. I'll wear a mask.
There you
You
go.
could pass it off in the car window.
All right. Well, we do have our. Where'd it go?
I don't know. Like and subscribe.
Oh, what happened to it?
What? What are we looking for?
Oh, the
hand sanitizer. Oh, I put it over
Oh, you hit it.
somewhere away.
Anyway, I was gonna.
Chemical guys.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we got our hand sanitizer. We're good to go.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah. All right. Well, episode 84 is in the books.
We'll catch you next week.
Have a good week and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.